Good afternoon, traders. This is Christian from Markets Trading Group, and this is your end of day market recap for Thursday, September 26th. Well, another big gap up today for the market, particularly what happened in the China space with more stimulus, like another big round of stimulus. And the Chinese Internet ETF is now up 27% in September. Really pretty astonishing to have that type of a move with them with the government announcing additional stimulus or perhaps more details on that stimulus. So a really big move, and this even gained a little bit over the trading session too. So a little bit of digestion there, but just didn't get hit hard as much as everything else. And it's kind of interesting because you look at these numbers and you say, okay, SPY was up, 0.75% for the day. You must think, oh my God, the market was like everything went up today. But I saw a lot of profit taking, and which is, again, quite normal. It also goes back to something that I've been talking about for years that and I think, the reason why I talk about it so much and why I try to help traders with this is because you just have to know where the gains are made, where the majority of your gains are made in the market. And again, that continues to happen in the overnight market. And, people sometimes think that that's like a new phenomenon or that something weird is going on. But as long as I've been doing this, that's where the majority of the gains are made. Every once in a while, we'll get a nice trending day where the market just, where there's buyers and there's accumulation over the day. But they've become a bit more few and far between, I think, recently. I think mainly what you're seeing is, some decent choppy markets, but overall, like just huge gains that are being made in the after hours market. And I think once again, like, so today, looking at SPY being up 75 basis points, but coming into today up about a 1.5%. It's just, I think, if you're setting up and you're trying to add trades into the momentum, that's not working. So, again, it's one of those things where my thought always on gap ups, it's something that I go over in the trading room quite a bit, is to be selling, being a net seller, and then kind of waiting for things to kind of digest a little bit. And sometimes you do see like a march back up, but today was kind of just rough going, I thought, for those who are looking for opportunities post the open. By the way, risk disclaimer in front of you, everything that we're going through is for information purposes only, not giving out any advice or recommendations. So where does that leave the S&P? Really like no change in the technicals. Again, just kind of got a little bit ahead of itself too. You can make that argument that price just did that, was a little bit too hot. And overall, price is not coming back, not falling below its 5-period moving average. Now, when we look at the RSP, which I went over in yesterday's video, we had a break of the 5-period moving average, but gap right back up, and I believe that's a new closing high for RSP. So not bad there. The Qs finally got above the value area for the month. They kind of just closed a little bit above there. They didn't quite get to that VPOC. Nasdaq futures did. So a little bit of a mixed signal there, depending on if you're looking at Nasdaq futures, which hit that perfectly. And again, the reason why the version point of controls, those blue lines are different, VPOCs are different because they're based on the volume profile. And Nasdaq futures trade, there's different, obviously, different volume, completely different volume that occurs at different times of the day in Nasdaq futures versus the Qs. But this was taken out. And we are above the 5-period moving average. I would watch that top of value. Qs didn't quite get there. So for now, I would watch the top of the value area, 484.40, and just note that that's about 1.2% ahead for the Qs. Again, it doesn't mean that we get there on this move, but some a decent amount of profit taking. But here's how the day kind of went as far as we opened. A rally all the way into the open at 9:20, and then just heavy selling. And we did stop right at the top of the value area. So again, the MarketWebs value area is giving you some really good signals, but I was surprised that we saw that much selling for till about 10:50, and then kind of that was it for the major profit taking. But a bounce there, a kind of false break down in here. and a bounce for the rest of the day, and then kind of quiet at the end of the day. But that's just how things ended up. IWM was a little bit different. There wasn't that heavy selling pressure, but there wasn't much momentum to IWM either. I thought you might see a bigger move today from IWM, just because it's been so beaten up comparatively to the other areas of the market. But I would keep an eye on it tomorrow. Don't forget, tomorrow we get the PCE report, which will be a gauge, another gauge of inflation. The market hasn't been moving as much on these recent inflation reports, right? They've been moving a lot more. I'm not sure what's going on here. Let's try this. And if not, I'll try a different screen here. Yes, for tomorrow. So they're looking for 0.1 percent, but yeah, but the market has kind of moved its focus away from inflation a little bit and looking more at like jobs numbers and things like that. So never, regardless, that number will be coming out at 8:30, and I would watch IWM to see if it can do anything. Right now, you're looking at the week, and remember yesterday, I think I talked about how we're almost getting down to the bottom of the value area, but we didn't quite get down there, and we're just right in the middle of the value area for the week. All right, so charts to kind of go over. Let's just talk about the internet names for a bit. The other day we saw, what was it, 10-cent music calls being bought. So today, I mean, this is a crazy move, right? So we are now above the May highs, so that's different, and a breakout of the value area for the year. So again, it's just huge moves. So where did we see the activity today? Because like I said, I think it was TCE. Whoops. What's 10-cent music? Or maybe it's TME, 10-cent music entertainment. So there was a big call buying in here. Um, I got out of my LI trade today. That was the one name that I caught quite nicely, but this was my target, 2507, and I actually was able to get it right around $26 for this. So that was a nice trade from just earlier in the week. So that was my exposure to Chinese internets. And congratulations if some of you long BABA and have the conviction to stay in there. I think also while you're seeing these big moves, it's just the fact that I think a lot of people have gave up on China. It took such a long time for anything to happen here. Um, so when you look at this, right, and it does kind of put things in perspective, even though this is up almost 30% for the month, you're looking at something that really hasn't done anything for a long time. So maybe we're going to begin to see some bigger moves, and certainly like the call buying in some of these names indicates that these things may want to go higher. I mean, look at the base in this thing. Right? This is one that we saw a lot of calls in. Let's see if I can give you the total for this for the day. Oops, I got the wrong symbol up here on my other computer. Let's see if I can get a tally here. I think calls, I think 89,000 calls traded total for the for this name. So this is BEKE, another name that I haven't seen in a long time. Now this is smaller stuff, but this is VIPS. Remember this name from years ago? This name saw some call activity too. So and then Futu, which I think is kind of interesting, the chart in this one, because the government wants folks to buy Chinese stocks. This is a brokerage where I guess you can get it done. So just very interesting, a few of these names. I was going to talk about another group that I thought was interesting today too, and has been seeing call activity. This is American Airlines. Like the airlines were very strong today, and this is a move into the value area for the year for AAL. Also, I've always kind of look at UAL because I think it's one of the better names too. Look at the move in United Airlines today. So there was some things that really looked interesting. I'm also watching a couple other names. Upstart. Here's I actually like the weekly chart a little bit better. Here's the weekly chart in Upstart. Notice again, long base and trying to basically break out of the value area. And this is a name that I got long a few weeks ago and took profits in, but I'm getting interested in it again. First Solar is another name too. Some of these beaten up areas. are the ones that are catching the momentum right now, and that's not a bad weekly chart there in First Solar. Now, I mentioned that there was profit taking. So look at my watch list, and I showed this watch list to you guys yesterday. But look at look at what the performance was in some of these names. Like Int has been a very strong software name, down 6%, right? And even the aerospace group that just made a new 52-week high, I think 2 days ago, looks like it's starting to kind of see some profit taking. Right? And again, there's nothing, rotation is part of a bull market. Things go up like this. They see that, they get a little bit stretched. They see some profit taking, and they rotate into some other things in the market. So again, like why would I be watching something like this? Because I'll be a buyer if these things kind of come in a little bit more. My favorite one in this space, again, just kind of, sometimes you just kind of have to sit and be patient and let some of these things happen. But this is another one that tried to take its next leg higher, and that's a big red bar on this name. So again, let these names kind of come in a little bit, and they might find some more buying opportunities. But you could see, even though for the week these things look pretty good, but again, a lot of names on my watch list were down for the day. Look at Roblox, down 5.8% today. That was a name that was showing some strength yesterday. GE down 2.5%. All right. So, in any event, I said this at the end of yesterday's video that Micron really kind of helped out the whole group because it started to see some distribution yesterday. But for now, things are okay. But I would keep in mind that we've got 2 more days of September, right? And there could be some funky moves that happen with the end of month and end of quarter coming up. So just something to be mindful of. And if you've done well with this market, and if you've been able to profit on some of these areas of the market, you might want to think about maybe getting a little bit more conservative. But again, I'm not telling anybody what to do. I just kind of note that sometimes the end of the month, end of the quarter, sometimes are a little bit more difficult. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. Have a great night. See you tomorrow.